What's up, everyone? We're back at another project here in Huguenot, New York, right by Port Jervis. That's our canvas behind us, and this is gonna be an awesome pondless waterfall, roughly about 35 foot long. It is also gonna include a turtle pond in the middle. So as that stream comes down to the basin, there's gonna be a deeper area where the turtles can go. The homeowner, Chris, just told me that inside the house there, he has some tortoises, and in the warmer weather, he's gonna love to bring them out here and let them enjoy nature. He will have a fence around the area that he's gonna move from that garden area and surround the perimeter of this. I'll have to put up extra protection for the turtle to keep them inside, but this is gonna be a cool little habitat with some beautiful plantings, some mossy rocks from in the woods, and some awesome pieces of wood. Logs are perfect for this application. It gives a way for the turtles to dip down into the pond and also get out. Also a great place for them to bathe. I can't wait to see what this project turns out to look like. The setting is awesome, and we are excited to get started.
1, 2, 3.
Homeowner Chris wants to put the patio over here, which I think is a great idea. Then as you come up the stream here, we're gonna have an area where the water drops facing this patio, and then up here the water will split. That hand pump is gonna sit on the outside of the ponding area, and right there is the ponding area for the turtles. Over here will be a stream coming down, and in the middle here is gonna be an island for terrestrial plants. We're gonna use plants that like water, so I can actually have water in there and I don't need to split the liner. It can be one piece of liner going all the way across. I'll use some fabric and some foam. Stay tuned for that later on in the video, because that's gonna sure turn out awesome. Great area for the turtles to go on land as well as go into the water of the pond. Thinking about going into the forest and getting a big log that dips down right in there, so they have an easy way to get out of the pond onto the island. Over here in front of me are stepping stones, and that's gonna lead from the back deck area to get you across. I'm standing in the other walkway here that goes down to that lower patio area where Chris wants set off to the side of the basin. Another really cool thing about this feature is gonna be a faced waterfall. That's one of the signature things at Garden State Koi, is utilizing the concrete face. Mentioned in other videos, I built the first display over 12 years ago, and since then, we have done many more. There's been a couple last year and a couple this year. They're getting more and more popular. Stay tuned for that as well. It's gonna give a really unique look to this waterfall. And then a little secret waterfall is gonna go over here. There'll be one pump in the system that's gonna be down there. It'll go into a manifold, and one 2-inch line will run up this way. That'll power that pump over there as well as the secret waterfall. On this side here, we're gonna have another 2-inch line that comes up and feeds the face waterfall. The reason why we want to keep those separate is we do not want any of the water from the filter box in this line to backtrack down into the basin if the power shuts off. Also, we need two 2-inch lines in this feature because the amount of water flow that will come out of the pump will be restricted if we only use one. Now let's get started digging, because we got a lot of work to go. We also got to get rocks out of the woods today, so we got our work cut out for us up here in Deer Park, New York. Day one was a great success here in Deer Park, New York. We got that basin in there, 15 large aqua blocks, and we're already starting to shape out the stream. We also gathered some rock from in the woods, covered in moss, and there's tons more to go grab. Alicio and Felipe did a great job today. Raphael was up in Roscoe finishing up the project, adding a little bit more mulch and taking care of a couple of areas, like adding a float valve autofill onto a pondless that we did a little while ago over there along the pool in Pine Bush. He also got our spare tire fixed today for our trailer. So if we get another flat like we did yesterday, we are prepared again. Tomorrow morning, we'll be back here setting boulders and starting to build this waterfall. It is gonna be really awesome. I like how it splits around the center island, where there'll be a planting area in the middle and a large pooling area, which will actually be a pond for turtles, roughly about 18 inches deep. The homeowner, Chris, wants to be able to put in different kind of plants like water lilies inside. So we want to make sure it's deep enough that they can stay in there for the winter, at the same time also thrive in the summertime. We have a lot of rocks that we brought up here, and we also have tons of them in the woods. We're gonna get a big log to start the project off. I'll show you that in a minute. Raphael's back up here with us today, and he's getting ready to seam a piece of 6-inch seam tape to the liner so he can put a bulkhead and attach the liner to the back of the pondless vault. We'll show you how that plumbing goes in. We're running two 2-inch lines, remember? So he'll be hooking up the manifold. We'll also be getting the pump in the vault ready to go. So But while Ralphie's working on that plumbing, we're in the woods and we found a nice tree behind us. We need a section about 15 foot long to fit diagonally across that square basin. Our goal is to break up the shape of that big square that you see there of aqua block. I got Felipe here with the trusty chainsaw and we're gonna step it out, mark 15 feet and give it a cut. Then I gotta try to get the machines back through here to remove the piece of wood. When building a waterfall or any project, the first element is always important. And that there is that 15-foot log that we just got out of the woods. That really breaks up the shape of the basin, and we're gonna start placing boulders around it to make it look like it was always there. At the end, right over there where Raphael and Chris are, Chris is gonna eventually build a little dry stream bed that leads off into the woods, and it'll be the overflow for the pondless basin. Like I said, we got Raphael back today, and he's up in the excavator, and him and Alicio already got a rock strap. This is the second element of this waterfall, and we are sure glad to have our buddy back with us today after running around completing a whole bunch of errands yesterday. So working with larger rocks like this, and especially if they're even bigger, you should really know what rocks are gonna go where way ahead of time. So you're not moving them all over the place. So this rock here that Raphael has on the machine is actually going where I'm standing. That flat one there is gonna go on top of this bed of gravel. And the one that's behind the machine with all the moss, that is gonna be the left side framer to this little bit of trickling water coming down in the basin. Remember, what started off this whole entire plan was this big piece of log here, breaking up that square shape. With these other rocks, we're gonna even break it up a little more, because now we have to break up the line of that log. It's pretty straight and we don't want it just looking like it's sitting there holding the liner up. Got those first couple of rocks placed, and now the guys are strapping up another one. That's gonna go behind the log over here and retain the soil. In that little pocket there on top of the basin, I'm gonna put some fabric, some soil, and then plant some ostrich ferns right there. On top of the basin in this area is gonna be a piece of liner, so the water comes between those two rocks and then disappears right around here. I really like the placement of these rocks so far. One thing I learned a couple of years ago from my good buddy from Naturescape, Sean Frost, are these slide type waterfalls that he's used to building from New Hampshire. We like to incorporate them in our waterfalls here. Make sure you go check out Sean from Naturescapes. Very talented builder out there, one of my good friends. And while that's going all on right now, we're trying to cook some ribs for lunch. Whew, I'm sure exhausted. We got that upper waterfall area almost complete. Tomorrow we'll be finishing up the outside areas, adding character boulders around, outcropping boulders, and finishing up that area of the waterfall. I am super excited to see this thing run tomorrow.